Thank you all for coming out tonight. Once again, the weather is held up, so we are blessed again. At this time, I'm going to call Ron Davey up, the past commander in 2011-2012 of the Middlesex County American Legion, to advance the colors.
Please rise. Colors will be advanced by American Legion T-Nulty Post 471 Color Guard. Color Guard, advance the colors. And salute. Color guard, halt, left, hey. Dead, halt. We'll now have the Pledge of Allegiance. Boy Scout Troop 143, sponsored by the Woodbridge Elks.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, fellas. National anthem will be sung by Nikki Breyer. Yes.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the red glare, their bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, Saint, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land and of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Nikki. The opening prayer was stated by Charlie Kenny.
Almighty God, we stand before you in supplication, asking your divine mercy and protection to envelop with your invincible armor our loved ones in all branches of the service. Give them courage and strength against all enemies, both spiritual and physical, and hasten their safe journey back to their homes and families. If it be your holy will that they be gathered to your bosom with the eternal vanguard of the saints, let their journey to your everlasting arms be swift and painless, where they may stand in honor and glory, praising you for all eternity. Amen.
Color guard. Retire the colors.
Right. Hey. Forward. Pause.
Salute.
Good job, man. Good job.
Now I have the welcome address by the Mayor of Woodridge, John McCormick.
Thank you very much and welcome to this beautiful evening here tonight at Woodbridge High School. I'd like to start by thanking our current council president, First Ward Councilman Charlie Kenny. Our council is very unique in that they each seem to have ideas that they embrace and that they sponsor and they run with. And Charlie, many, many years ago, started the whole idea of this troops rally. And it was not only his idea, but he runs it every year. He organizes it, brings the school kids, brings the scouts, of course, brings all the veterans, brings the Blue Star support group. So I'd like to ask for a round of applause for our great councilman, our council president, Charlie Kenny. I'd also like to introduce several of the people in the audience tonight. Our state senator from the 19th district covering Carteret, Perth Amboy, South Amboy, Woodbridge, and Sayreville, Senator Joe Vitale. 19th District Assemblyman Craig Coughlin. Representing 19th District Assemblyman John Wisniewski is Charles Burton. Our great freeholder director of Middlesex County from Carteret, Ron Rios. Our county clerk from Old Bridge, Elaine Flynn. And we have several of our council people here tonight. Our 3rd Ward Councilwoman, Michelle Charmello. 5th Ward Councilman Bob Luban. Councilman at Large Greg Ficara. Councilman at Large Kyle Anderson. And Councilman at Large Jim Carroll. And I'd like to thank especially the Blue Star support families tonight. Tonight's our opportunity to thank your kids who are overseas serving in harm's way through you. So we hope that if you're here tonight and you have a kid serving overseas, please let them know the next time you write, the next time you call, the next time you Skype. Let them know that the Township of Woodbridge is 100% behind them. And we thank them, and we also thank you for your sacrifice, because it's not easy having a kid overseas and knowing they're in harm's way. And you can be assured that all the veterans groups in Woodbridge Township are praying and working hard to make sure that your kids come home safely. So thank you all for being here tonight.
Just a couple quick notes before we move on with the program. The reason Reverend Smith isn't here, and he is here every year, always volunteers to come here, ask me when the date is, his mother passed away. So today's the wake, and I just ask that you keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers. And I also want to thank Nikki Breyer, who had to leave. She had to go back to work. She contacted the mayor's office a couple months, maybe about a month ago, and asked if she could participate in any type of events where you needed the national anthem sang or other songs. Her husband is a serviceman. He served, was overseas, so I just want to thank her for taking the time and being part of this program. At this time, I am going to move on to the musical selection, Heroes in Glory, the instrumental choir, schools 9, 21, and 25. At this time, as we do every year with the program, we have a part of it where we celebrate Memorial Day and those that have served and have come and gone before us and made the ultimate sacrifice. So at this time, we're going to place the wreaths at the monuments, and I'm going to ask Mayor McCormick and Ed Gorman to please place the first wreath. We place that wreath recognizing those that served us in World War I and World War II. At this time, I'm going to call forward Freeholder Director Ron Rios and Robert Casimir, U.S. Navy. They're going to place a wreath at the Korean Conflict Monument in memory of those that served during the Korean conflict. This time I'm going to call forward Senator Joe Vitale, Assemblyman Craig Coughlin, and Robin Goodrich, a Vietnam veteran, to place the third wreath. At this time, we're going to have Amazing Grace played by John Brower from the Woodbridge Knights of Columbus 857, followed by taps from George Lazicki, past National Commander VFW.
Couldn't make a decision. Yes, I did.
This time I'm going to be calling forward Robert Skibar. Robert is with the United War Veterans Council. Robert contacted Brian Molnar from our Parks and Recreation Department to see if he could be part of the program. He's been a Woodbridge resident since returning from Vietnam in 1970. He did his undergraduate and graduate work at Rutgers and returned to the Navy in 1982 to serve as a surface warfare officer in the Navy. He retired from the Navy in 1994 and taught the Navy Junior ROTC in New York City until he retired again in 2010. He currently is a member of the United War Veterans Council, the organization that produces the New York City Veterans Day Parade, and lends its support to a host of other veteran organizations such as Wounded Warriors, Vietnam Veterans of America, Gold Star Mothers, just to name a few. If you want more information, you can go to the United War Veterans or www.uwvc.org. And at this time, Mr. Skibar is going to present an American flag that was flown over Ground Zero to Mayor McCormick on behalf of the township residents.
Thank you. Thank you. Present you with this, and I'll read the citation. It says, presented by the United War Veterans Council Incorporated. This certifies that this American flag was proudly flown over hallowed ground at the World Trade Center and is presented to the Honorable John E. McCormick, Mayor, Woodbridge Township, in recognition for your proud and steadfast support to our veterans community and in the memory of Woodbridge Township men and women who honorably served, are currently serving, and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our great nation. Never forget. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll fly this proudly in Town Hall, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
At this time, I'd like to present names of people that are serving overseas that we should keep in our thoughts, our prayers. Their families have asked us to remember the sacrifices that they're making and the sacrifices that their families are making while they're over there and while they're serving us, whether it be here in our country or overseas. They are making a sacrifice, and that's what we're here for today. Staff Sergeant Timothy Donovan Jr., U.S. Army, currently stationed in Fort Meade, Maryland. Tim has served our country for 6 years with 4 overseas deployments. He is expected to be discharged from the Army soon. Sergeant Nicholas Donovan, U.S. Army, currently stationed in Georgia. Nick has served our country for 5 years. He will soon be returning from his 4th overseas deployment. Tomorrow is Nick's 25th birthday. Tim and Nick are the sons of Donna and Tim Donovan, Sr. Michael Gorman, Fort Campbell. He is the grandson of Ed Gorman. Dylan O'Neill. Dylan is currently with the 359th ARB unit stationed in Germany, son of Ada O'Neill and Richard O'Neill. Lucas Heideka, and if I said that wrong, I apologize. U.S. Navy, USS Boise, Norfolk, Virginia, son of Lorraine and Gary. Michael Kress, Island, son of Bill and Cindy Kress, brother of Amanda DeSilvia, AJ, and Megan Kress, uncle to Jenna and Charlie DeSilva, JFK Memorial High School class of 2008. Montclair State University, and then the Marine Corps, January 2012, stationed in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, currently serving with his battalion in Afghanistan. Private First Class Joseph Mindel. He is 20 years old, on active duty with the Army, currently serving in Afghanistan. And he is the son of Brenda Albayer of Old Road and Seawall. Hector Pinto and his wife Crystal, both are stationed in Japan, and both are due to come back to the States after 3 years in September. the Murgatroyd and Pinto family. Nicholas Faris is in the U.S. Army stationed in Hawaii. He is also a firefighter with Island District 11 Fire Department. And that's from Mark Faris. Commander John W. Kowaleski, U.S. Navy, and Captain Michael P. Kowaleski, U.S. Army from Fords. Both did multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. Both are now stationed in the United States. Thank you, a very proud uncle, Uncle Ron. William Grimes. Billy is a graduate of JFK High School 2010 and entered the United States Navy in October 2010. He is currently assigned to the aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson and is an interior communications electrician. And that's from Susan Grimes, and his parents are out in San Diego because he's coming home from his deployment very shortly. Captain Patrick Higgins is currently in Zabul, Afghanistan with the 2-1 Cavalry, which is part of the 4-2 Stryker Brigade combat team. And that's from Patrick Higgins. This is for Jeffrey Jeffrey enlisted in the Army right after he graduated from JFK Memorial High School in 2010. He also served 3 years at Fort Bliss in Texas and has loved ones serving our nation and has just re-upped for another 3-year tour. He is currently a specialist and just relocated and begun his next tour at Fort Benning in North Carolina. His grandparents, Tony and Maureen Morella, are also residents in the Colonia section of Woodbridge, as is his father, Thomas Carabin. Thank you, and I hope, Maureen Carabin. Captain Amy Updike, U.S. Army, 2 tours in Iraq, currently serving as the head nurse, ER of Bassett Army Hospital, Fairbanks, Alaska, and that is the daughter of Robin Goodrich. Gerald Kopchak, he is now stationed in San Diego, California. Thank you, and God bless our troops. And his grandfather, Gerald Bellino, who was in the U.S. Army in the 60s, sent this in and wanted us to remember Gerald Kopchak. Marine Private First Class Stephen M. Kemper is currently stationed at Goodfellow Air Force Base in San Angelo, Texas. Stephen graduated from Woodbridge High School in 2012. Stephen's grandfather, Frank Kemper, is an Army veteran, and his other grandfather, Matthew Assoch, is a Marine veteran. They appreciate everything that's being done by our troops, and that is from Stephen Kemper. Airman Tyan Connors Jr., 2011 graduate of Woodbridge High School, and is currently serving in the United States Air Force Security Forces. He is currently stationed in Okinawa, Japan, and it's almost 1 year since we have seen him. Our other son, Private First Class Orlando Sanabria, 2012 graduate of JFK High School, is currently serving in the United States Marine Corps and is stationed at 29 Palms, California. We are so very proud of them both, as well as our entire military and their families. And that is from Annette Sarabria Seaworm. Jenny Rossetti in the U.S. Navy is from Hope Lawn, and Daniela Rossetti, the U.S. Navy, is from Hope Lawn. And we'd also, that was submitted by their family, to keep them in our thoughts. Those are the ones that I have here. Is there anybody else, starting from my left to my right, that has somebody that hasn't been mentioned that they would like mentioned? I'll just move right across. Back row. Brian Burns, Lieutenant Colonel. He's currently stationed at Hickam Air Force Base. Thank you. Thank you for his service. Carl?
Clayton Rudy, U.S. Navy, was stationed in Norfolk. He's due to be transferred to where we don't know yet. Also a member of Israel Volunteer Fire Company number 1.
Thank you.
Justin Kitchen, excuse me, U.S. Navy, just re-enlisted for another 5 years.
Say that again, I'm sorry,
Justin
Barbara.
Kitchen, U.S. Navy, just re-enlisted for another 5 years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving right. I'm sorry, who would I miss? Oh, there we are. Douglas Malcolm. I had Douglas here somewheres. That was sent in by Anthony. I apologize. Oh, actually, hold on. So it was Douglas Malcolm and also Christopher Mayer, who is from Colonia too, that were on another list that I had. So I apologize, but thank you. Thank you for their service. Joe Niski Jr. also is currently serving. We thank them for their service. Anyone else? We're going to do the family was going to do a presentation. Okay. So at this time, if we could just give a round of applause for everybody that I mentioned. I know it was kind of sporadic. At this time, I'm going to call forward Elaine Flynn from the Middlesex County, who is our Middlesex County clerk. Elaine is going to talk about a military card, just for those that have served, and how it can help them in regards to benefits and other items. Elaine?
Thank you, Charlie, and all that are here. It's an honor to be here and to represent the county in a nice program that we put together for the veterans. But to quote Gary Hart, there is one higher office than being President of the United States, and that's being a patriot and a veteran. The card is being offered to better serve Middlesex County veterans and make it easier for them to qualify for certain benefits. Filing for this new card creates a permanent record in my office in the event an individual discharge papers become lost or damaged and are needed as proof for property tax deductions and for VA benefits. The card can be used to participate in various discount programs where courtesies are extended to military personnel. I talked to one of our audience, Daniel Dunn. He got a card just 5 days ago or 6 days ago from my office, and he said he's really glad to have something like this. Veterans can get their service card by visiting my office at the Middlesex County Administration Office, located at 75 Bayard Street in New Brunswick, Monday through Friday from 8:30 till 3 p.m. I did talk to a couple of veterans before we came on the stage, and I said that my office would also entertain the idea of having one of my staff go to a veterans group to issue these cards so they don't have to come to New Brunswick. Because as I told Director Rios, it is hard to park in New Brunswick. For more information on obtaining the Middlesex County Veterans Service Card, include what documents you should bring with you to prove who you are, you can call 732-745-5722 any day while we're working, and we'll be happy to serve you. Freedom is never free, but in this case, the Veterans ID card is free. Thank you very much. Come on.
Good. Thank you, Elaine. At this time, we're going to have another musical selection from the instrumental choirs from School 9, 21, and 25, Freedom's Road. At this time, I'm going to call forward Karen Neary, who has a project that she's going to be working with Councilman Delina. It's called the Hometown Hero Banners, and she's going to explain what that is, so this way anybody, whether they're here or watching this on TV, will be able to see it, and if they want to participate, they'll have information on it. Karen?
Thank you. Good evening. Last year, I'm a member of American Legion Post 471 in Island. And after our ceremony last year, we went down to Milltown because they were dedicating and displaying their hometown hero banners. They're about 4 foot tall and 2 feet wide, and they have a picture of a hometown veteran. And they're displayed from Memorial Day up until Veterans Day. Well, I found out in March that Milltown did not do these banners, but that the unit did those banners. And when I heard that, the thought that immediately flashed in my head was, I can do that. So I spoke to our commander, Ron Davey, and our unit president, Amber Aniak, and both of them were in agreement that as a post, we could coordinate this activity. So I've kind of taken it upon myself that hopefully next year, we will be able to do the same thing here for our Woodbridge veterans and our hometown heroes. See, I was born and raised in this town in Fords. My mom was a nurse and a teacher, and my dad was a World War II veteran and a paid firefighter in Fords. And in my lifetime, my heroes have not been people with numbers on their backs, but badges on their chests and chevrons on their sleeves and chalk dust in their hands. So I thought, what a great way to honor those men and women of our community. Our hope is that each hometown, Avenel, Fords, Colonia, etc., will be able to fly on their main street their hometown heroes for the period of Memorial Day until Veterans Day. We hope to have a prototype of the banners today, but unfortunately they're not done yet. But if you keep on checking the Woodbridge Township website and the Woodbridge News, you'll be kept abreast of how this project develops. We kind of have, a pretty good idea right now. We have to work on cost and getting the banners displayed in the town, but Mayor McCormick and the town council and our Public Works Department has been very helpful in that area. So if you have a veteran in your family, obviously we are going to have some proof of the fact that they did serve in the military. And if they have roots here in Woodbridge Township, they'll be eligible for a banner. So keep checking the website, and I'll probably be going around displaying the banners that we have being made or in the process of being made. And hopefully you will have someone in your family that you would like to honor as I have in mind. So thank you, and thank you to our heroes that are here tonight, our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you. And as Karen said, you can keep the Woodbridge Township website or TV 35 will have more information as it becomes available, but they're really sharp banners. She had one a while back from Milltown. At this time, I'm going to call forward Kathy Stamato, who's a Blue Star Family Support Group member. Her son William enlisted after high school, was recently deployed, if I'm correct, and she's going to talk on behalf of the Blue Star Family Group.
Good evening. I have to say first, on behalf of the Blue Star Group, Mr. Kenny, thank you for organizing this event. It means a lot to us. I would also like to acknowledge 2 other graduates of Woodbridge High from the class of 2011 who are also friends of my son. James Aida, who's in the United States Air Force, and I think he's in North Dakota, and Vincent Pardee, who is in Cherry Point, North Carolina, and he's with the United States Marines. Our son, Lance Corporal William Stamato, also a graduate of Woodbridge High, class of 2011, was recently deployed to Afghanistan with the 2nd Battalion, 8th Regiment Golf Company. We heard from him yesterday. He's doing well. He's only complaining about the heat. As a member of the Blue Star Group, I find them very comforting, and it is a great support group between my son going to boot camp and recently deployed, with the support of not only our family and friends and the support of the Blue Star Group. They will get us through this. At one of the meetings, one of the founding members, who's a dad of a son who's here. His son served in the United States Army for how many years? 5 years. Was recently honorably discharged, currently living in the township of Woodbridge with his wife Jen and his brand new son Bradley Peter. His father submitted a letter to the editor of the Woodbridge News Tribune. And I would like to share that letter with you because it basically sums up what we, the family of the Blue Star Group, feel. Dear editor, we of the Blue Star Family Support Group of Woodbridge know that much of our population, including our friends and neighbors, have become wary of the ongoing wars that our service people have been involved with over the past decade. The news and images of the wars have faded from our daily observation. We no longer see stories about milestone death numbers. We see fewer displays of the flag and less obvious supports of the troop. Yellow flag car magnets have largely disappeared. We understand that after such a protracted period of time, war fatigue can inevitably set in. We, however, want to continue to try to focus the attention, support, and recognition on our troops that they deserve as they continue to carry out the mission that their country, our country, has sent them out on. Astonishingly, there are among our fellow citizen people who think that the wars are over. By the level of attention focused on our military by the media, one could draw that conclusion. Nevertheless, our troops are still deployed and they are still fighting and in too many cases still dying in Afghanistan. We do not want that fact to slip from our collective consciousness. The Blue Star Family Support Group exists to support the families of active duty service people from our area. We began our group with 3 families in 2007 when a few representatives from Post 471 of the American Legion of Islam offered to provide a place for us to meet. We now have dozens of families. We meet the last Tuesday of every month at the American Legion post in Islam. We provide not just moral and spiritual support for our troops and their families, we supply material support. We send care packages regularly to our deployed troops. We also provide them with welcome home boxes when they return. We have seen our members' children cycle out through multiple deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan. We have been there for each other. We have helped each other through the darkest days of our children's deployments. We know what each of us needs. We help new members as their children go through boot camp. We help each other through the deployments. We rejoice with each other as the individual soldier comes home. We get it. If you or someone you know is the parent, spouse, or family member of an active duty service person, please feel free to contact us. You are not alone. People who have gone through what you are going through now are here to help you. In fact, we have members that will be having their children deploy this spring. We will be there for them. It isn't just the soldiers that serve. It is the family left behind that serves too. We would like to help you. You may contact us by accessing our host website, www.tnultipost471.org, and following the link to the Blue Star Family Support Group. Please remember to support and pray for our troops. Matt Barney, Woodbridge. We have a table to my right where there's a free will offering. Please feel free when you leave to put in whatever you want. We use that money toward our supplies for the boxes that we packed. As a matter of fact, we packed boxes on Monday night. And please, for those people that are there that are children that are deployed in the township, please stop by the table. We would love to send a box out to him or her. So thank you very much, and thank you so much for your support. It means the world to us.
Thank you, Kathy. They do send the packages out, and as I learned when I got involved in this whole process, they don't get flown over there for free. The families have to pay to send their packages over to their loved ones, and so it helps defer the cost of the packages that they're sending out. I think they sent some out last month through donations from churches in Hope Lawn, Fords, Perth Amboy. They got items donated, and they were able to provide the packages through those items. They're constantly looking for donations. It's an ongoing process. As long as there's somebody over there, we need to be able to send them packages so they know that we're thinking of them. The Blue Star Family Support Group, as Ron Davey was reminding me, was born out of the Support the Troops rally. And it's probably the best part of this rally that there is, a place for the families to go to speak to one another that are making the same sacrifice. So I thank them for what they do and forming together, and Ron for your council hosting that. At this time, I'm going to call Robert Skibar back up again, and he has a couple more presentations that he's going to make.
Thank you, Councilman, Mayor. I'm honored to be here at this event. It's so well timed. We just had Armed Forces Day on Saturday. Monday is Memorial Day. But before I even get started, I have one piece of business. Do we have any Vietnam veterans out here? If you would, raise your hand or stand if you can. I don't know about you guys, but it took me quite a few years to hear these words. Welcome home, brothers. Welcome home. And it's events like this that will guarantee that the next generation of servicemen and women will know that they are appreciated. So thank you, Councilman. Aside from being a longtime Woodbridge Township resident, I am here today as a representative of the United War Veterans Council. It is our mission to honor service wherever and whenever we can. We are staffed primarily by volunteers, many of whom are veterans, and all are veterans advocates. United War Veterans brings together representatives from many veterans groups in a common cause to say thank you to those who have served our country when called upon. We are perhaps most known for the production of the New York City Veterans Day Parade, which only a few years ago consisted of a handful of veterans and an American flag marching up Fifth Avenue. Today, it's a nationally broadcast event with over 20,000 participants, and I invite you all to join us this year. In addition to the parade, each year we visit our returning wounded warriors at Walter Reed and Bethesda Naval Hospital in Maryland with our Valentine's Day Goodwill Caravan. With the help and support of many veteran-owned businesses such as HBO and U-Haul, just to name a couple, we bring gifts and tokens of love and appreciation to these young servicemen and women as they recover from their wounds. And although the generosity of big business helps, it's the volunteer force that keeps us alive. And I have to tell you a quick story about one such volunteer. I met Jessica Bryant as a high school freshman when she joined the Navy Junior ROTC program, which I taught for 16 years. Following a trip to the war memorials in Washington, D.C., she was so moved, particularly by the Vietnam War with its 58,000 plus names inscribed, that she came back and started a program of her own. It's called Step Into Their Boots, in which she recruited her fellow high school students to do community service in honor of our fallen heroes. The kids personalize a pair of combat boots with the names of the hero they wish to honor. And over the next year, they do volunteer work and community service in that person's name. After a year, they present the boots to a family member of the fallen. Their motto is, "We continue the steps that they can no longer take." I think that says a lot about today's youth. The rest of my class also wanted to do something to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice. They chose to do one military-style push-up for each name on the wall. As a group, we would start each class with a set of push-ups. And by Memorial Day, we had completed our goal of 58,256 push-ups. Many of them performed for various veteran groups around us throughout the year. We invited other schools to join us in what became known as the Push-Up Challenge. And when I retired from the school system 3 years ago, we had over 80 schools cranking out push-ups. At last count, they had racked up over 5 million push-ups a year. These are the youth of America, and these are our future. I think we should all feel good about that. Woodbridge is well known for its support of our military, with so many military organizations to prove it. I urge you all to get involved and show your support. I would now ask our Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, guys, to join me on stage as I read a pledge to those who have served and are serving.
We, the youth of America, do hereby pledge to all active duty service members and veterans of the armed forces that we will be the bearers of the torch of freedom you fought to preserve. We will strive to learn more about the sacrifices you made so that we may enjoy the fruits of liberty. We ask you to share your experiences with us. Tell us about your service so that we might learn. You faced a vicious enemy who sought to destroy our way of life, and you were victorious. We pray that we will never have to face a war of our own, but if we do, we will do our duty as you have done yours. We want to know about your hopes and fears, your hardships and rewards, your courage and patriotism.
Tell us about your fellow comrades who fought beside you on land, sea, and or air. Tell us of the places you have been and of the people you have met. We have only seen the pictures and read the history of your battles. You lived it, and only you can tell your story.
Tell us so we can learn. Tell us so we can retell your stories. Tell us so we can keep your memories alive. Tell us so that the future may learn from your sacrifices. We promise that your legacy will live forever because we will remember.
We will remember and we will
tell others.
Thank you. This is our future, folks. Over by there. Our scouts will now accompany a member of one of our own Gold Star families, the Reinhardt family, in presenting a wreath before our monument. Please note the print within the wreath. It was created by another Gold Star mother, Mrs. Catherine Cross, with her Memorial Day wish. Salute a flag, lay a flower at a monument, and take a moment to remember why. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you to our Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts that participated. If I could, real quick, from my left to my right, the roll call of the units that are here from our township. Guys in the center. Thank you.
American Legion, Woodbridge.
Thank you. Colonial, thank you. Anybody else? Thank you all for. Oh. Thank you all for coming out and making the program a success. Real quick. You know, the Iraq war is over. Afghanistan is coming to a close, they say, next year. But the war does not end. I know I'm preaching to the choir of the people sitting here. It's more for the people that are home that aren't here today that might catch this on TV. The war still goes on, and it will go on. And those that have served us over the last 10 years are going to need our help and our support. And so if you could, whenever you get a chance, you know, the program's going to end in about 5 minutes. That doesn't mean that the need to help our men and women that are serving and their families stops then either. So if you have a chance at some point to help out, whether it be through the Blue Star Family Group, through your local veterans organization, or just going somewhere and thanking a vet. You see a vet, say thank you for what they've done. It was very big back in 2001, 2002, 2003 to thank a vet. Let's not stop because the decade has passed. It needs to still continue. And I also want to acknowledge the American Irish that's in the back. The American Irish has 1 week, 1 day out of a week in each month where they go to the Veterans Home in Menlo Park Terrace to provide fellowship and games and coffee and cake and stuff for our veterans that are at the home. So I just want to acknowledge them that they're here too.
I had it organized. All right.
Real quick, I want to say some thank yous. I want to thank the all who have participated to make this program a success. Take a look over here. We have about 50 kids from 3 schools to participate. Under the direction of Mr. Healy, who every year, as I say, contacts me and says, okay, what's the date this year? He's gotten it down now. He knows it's usually about Wednesday or Monday before Memorial Day, so we know what week, but so he can plan his spring concerts. But I want to thank you kids. You could be anywhere else right now. You don't have to be here. Your parents didn't have to bring you, but I thank you all for coming out. I want to thank our Department of Public Works and the Parks and Recreation and the administration for their help in setting up this program. I want to mention Robert Caggiano. Robert donates the flags that the Blue Star Family Group hands out, and he is from Hillside, and they gave me a card with more information, but we just want to thank him for his donations to help hand out these flags here at the program. And I want to thank Debbie Meehan from the Colonia Corner, Woodbridge Corner. As everybody knows, Debbie's very active in the veteran programs that go on. She's there for the Blue Star Family Group. She's there to promote any type of veteran organization that is having a fundraiser. There's 3 pages of the Colonia Woodbridge Corner dedicated to our men and women that are serving overseas from town. So thank you, Debbie, for what you do for our veterans. I also, real quick, want to thank Donna Jago. I see her in the back. When we started this the first time, you know, there was a template laid out, and it wouldn't have been such a success if Donna had not helped me lay out the template of what we were going to do. And I've just followed that template every year, so I want to thank you for your help in getting this program going. I think that covers about everybody. If there's somebody I miss, I apologize greatly. I want to thank our Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, as I said before, Troop 143 from the Woodbridge Elks. Troop 53 I saw participated in the other program. Thank you for coming out and making this a success. Just bear with me 1 minute, I'm sorry. At this time, we're going to have the closing prayer. If you would stand. If you notice, the flags are at half-staff. They're at half-staff for the residents of Oklahoma. So if we can keep them in our prayers and thoughts as these days move forward. Bless us as we wait, as we move, as we endure. Our service and spirit supports our loved one far away. War has called them to serve and us to wait. In our waiting, we serve too, with strong hearts. We are the families of those who defend America. Our shared sacrifice are for our country too. We smile to keep the spirit of our troops strong. At home, we handle the things and hold hopes, flame high. Our families do not complain, we serve. Dedicated to America's freedom and liberty, we are the keepers of the Valley Forge legacy. We are the families of America's military. Bless us as we bless this country with our lives. Protect our troops and protect our loved ones from harm. Bless them and bring them home. Thank you all for coming.